it's on the record. We're going to start with just some program updates. So Ron, the last time that we met was, oh gosh, I think that was in May, the beginning of May. And we had our quorum, so we voted to fund 2 low volume road projects. So we funded Yadenboro for Park Place, Hazel Ave, Walnut Ave, and Maple Ave, and that's one project. So those 3 avenues intersect with Park Place, and they're doing stormwater improvements. And then we funded Edgemont Township on Forest Lane, and they're going to be doing some runoff improvements as well as off right-of-way improvements right along, I think it's Rocky Run that goes parallel to the street there. So those contracts, Yadenboro has reviewed and signed and submitted their contract, so they are ready to go, ready to move forward with the project. They actually have plans to bid the project this month, and then hopefully, I think they said by August or September, they would have a contractor ready to go and get started on the project. So, so that's exciting. Edgemont, we just reviewed the contract with them, and we are awaiting their signatures to be mailed back to us for them to complete the contract and move forward with that. So that is the updates for those. We were waiting on traffic counts for Edgemont Township, which we'll talk about when we go over the revised policies. So next on the agenda, just a quick update for the Center for Dirt and Gravel Road Studies. They've been sending out lots of emails and updates and changed restrictions and policies and training dates. We've had 2 municipalities show interest in the program that aren't ESM certified just yet. So we're waiting to hear about any nearby ESM trainings or online trainings. And I did get a hint from one of the guys that they're going to be doing a shortened virtual training so that people can apply. I'm not sure about the details of that yet, but that's awesome news because it seems like things just keep getting canceled and postponed. So I'm glad that we can offer this to our municipalities. And it'll hopefully be a little more convenient than traveling pretty far for 2 days. Okay, moving on, public comments. No public comments. Discussion of revised local policies. So do you guys have the Word document that I sent out? I think what I can do actually, I'm going to try to share my screen. Let me see if I can do that. Can you all see this?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So going through the contracts and working with the guys from the Center for Dirt and Gravel Road Studies, we were going through a couple of things in our local policies that the applicants had questions about and that may work better in the contract. So I'm just going to scroll down. Everything is the same on the first page, second page. Okay, so our paving policy. Both Edgemont and Yaden had questions about our paving policy. And the way that it's worded was even a little confusing to me. So I think if I remember correctly in our discussion, we kind of decided that it might be best to not fund paving at all. Is that correct? I think Ed and Beth, we talked about this during our last meeting.
Yeah, that's the Chester County program doesn't fund any paving.
Okay.
What's the, Chester County has probably more applicants. Therefore, we can be picky and choosy about it. So I'm just kind of curious, did we eliminate that because we want to focus more on other type of projects?
Yeah, from what I remember of our discussion, we wanted to focus on more, different kinds of projects. The only thing that I was thinking where it might be a little iffy is if you're repaving a road, and by doing so, you're, creating positive drainage towards an inlet or something.
Right, like almost like along with like a regrading situation.
Right. So the way that that I revised this policy was I just took out this section here that's crossed out. When I read it a little more, I think that applies more to dirt and gravel roads. So I just took that out. The first part cannot be used to pave unpaved road or replace pavement on low volume roads. So we wouldn't just be replacing pavement. And we would also not just, obviously, solely repaving roads. But that third part here, paving costs may only be covered where required due to implementation of additional stormwater BMPs to address a resource concern. Do we want to leave that in there, or do we want to say no paving whatsoever?
I personally like that revision.
Yeah, it leaves the opportunity to do repair work if it's needed, if it's addressing something.
Okay.
So I think that's fine to leave it in there.
Okay. Ed?
So if you were repaving, replacing a culvert, then they could repave over the area of the culvert. If they were going to put in some type of under drain alongside the road to go to a wetland and divert it or something, they could repave over the pipeline. Not just repaving for pavement's sake to make things nicer. Okay.
Agreed.
Okay. Okay, so we will keep this phrase in there then, correct?
Yes. I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Cool. Okay, moving on. Traffic counts. So like I said before, Edgemont Township, they had applied and we had decided to award their project, and they did not have the traffic counts yet. And, when I went out to the road, I don't think I saw one car go by in the half hour to 45 minutes that I was there. So it, we could make the assumption that it was under 500, and thank goodness it was. But I think in order to avoid a lot of the, when these applicants do all the work to apply for the project and go out and look, I think it's important that they know that the project's eligible first. So this was recommended by the state to add this into our policies, to require traffic count before submitting an application and then submitting that documentation with the application. What do we think? Do we want to keep that, or do we want to allow them to do the traffic counts after they've applied before they fill out a contract?
I personally think that I understand the premise and it makes absolute sense. However, I wouldn't completely close the door. If we end up in a situation where we're near the deadline for closing of a round of grant money, at least if they're wanting to jump in there real quick and make application, give them a little bit of an out, say something like, traffic count must be, done within 30 days of application or something like that. If not practical.
Okay.
What happens if we approve an application and the traffic count comes back and it doesn't meet?
Then it's not eligible.
So can we then break the agreement? Is that what happens?
So, so the agreement isn't finalized until the contract is signed. So the traffic counts are required before a contract.
Okay.
Yeah, but not before an application.
Okay.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. Okay, so Ron, I see what you're saying. Maybe give them some kind of leeway after submitting an application, like
Yeah,
two,
yeah,
two,
like 2 or 3
3 weeks
weeks.
or something.
Exactly. So that, like, for example, that way maybe, they submit their application, just before the deadline, but yet, by the time we get to have our next meeting to review all the applicants, then it can be in by then,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think what maybe you guys can do at that point is that if we do start getting applications that we can't fund, is that we approve them in a list so that if the traffic counts don't come in, we just move to the next one on the list.
Okay. That makes sense.
Didn't we have some caveat in there about prioritization of the projects? And there was different things in there.
What do you mean, Ron?
Remember when we came up with prioritizing the application approval form? We had kind of like different criteria.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we could also just like what Ed just mentioned, kind of throw that in there as well, saying, this, and those applicants that were complete, at the time for review.
Okay. So you're saying maybe have an extra line in the grant evaluation form that says, if your traffic count is submitted with the application, that's an extra 5 points
Yes.
or something.
Right.
There isn't a very long period of time when you can't do traffic counts, is there? I know there was a time.
Like Thanksgiving.
I think the state has some kind of time frame that you're not.
Yeah, I think it's between Thanksgiving and maybe sometime in March.
That's what I was.
I don't remember exactly what day. And then there's certain times of the week, certain times of the day that they have to be done.
So in our October time frame, they only have a few days, 30 days then, to be able to get it done before they're not eligible.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Yep. Oh, there he is. Lost his camera.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments on this policy? Okay. Moving on, the last one I have here is just this little phrase here. So as I was working through the contracts and putting those together, Ken from the Center for Dirt and Gravel Roads saw the 18 months and he was like, oh, wow, that's a very long time. So to give us some flexibility.
Could you reshare your screen so we can look at that?
Oh, do you not see it?
No, I have it down at the bottom. Oh, there it goes. I pressed on it and it came up.
Oh, okay. Can you see it better now?
Yep.
Okay. So Ken suggested that we leave this the same, except to give us some more flexibility, say up to 18 months from the date of the contract to complete the project. So that way, when we're doing the contract, we can say, depending on, I guess, each situation, each application that comes in, we could say you have 6 months from the date of the contract to complete the project. And we have anywhere from, a couple weeks up to 18 months to make that. What do we think of that? Does that make sense?
I mean, I think it's fine.
Okay. Ron or Ed, do you have any comments?
No, I agree. I think it's good.
Okay.
You can go.
All right. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through and just add these in. Unless, do you, Ed, Beth, or Ron, do you have any other comments about anything else in the policies or the grant evaluation form?
I don't think did you vote on whether or not you're going to change the ranking system?
The evaluation form?
Yes, sorry.
No, I don't think we did. Is everyone in favor of changing the grant evaluation form? And that's just adding this part here, the traffic count stipulation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you vote, Ed?
I can't vote.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
I don't think, well, I think I just said, is everyone in favor of making these changes to the local policies? Figured I'd throw an official ask in there.
Okay, do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion is seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion's passed.
Okay. All right, great. So like I was saying, I'll go through and I'll add these changes. Ed, do you think we can work this into today's board meeting, or better off waiting until next time and just add it to our agenda?
We have low volume roads on the agenda, so you can fit it in there. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, this needs to be approved by the board. And then, so I'll review all the changes that we made with them. And then we'll send it off to the Center for Dirt and Gravel Roads, and they'll add it, and it'll become the new policies for any future applications. So the reason I wanted to have the meeting today was so that it's in place before our next application deadline of, I think it's October 30th is the next time applications will be due. And knock on wood, we'll get a couple more.
And I talked to you a little bit, maybe just informed, but we're going to start promoting it, sending out to the municipalities again, and especially targeting the ones that we know that are eligible.
Yeah.
And how many townships do we have that are eligible now?
Oh geez, I want to say 8.
8 municipalities.
Yeah. Milburn Borough was very interested, but this everything COVID happened around the time that the applications were due, so they kind of put this on the back burner, but hopefully we'll get an application from them this fall.
Good.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got. Does anyone else have anything they want to say about the program, or?
We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn the meeting.
Ron motions to adjourn. We second.
I'll second it.
Beth seconds. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Till next